Hi, I'm Tom.
I'm Matty.
And I'm Lewis.
This is the Wigan Way, Wigan's favourite rugby league podcast.
He'll put you in his trap 'cause he's a union man. He's got it all figured out. He won't care what you think 'cause he's a northern man. He's allowed to speak his mind. His
So who do you think it is then? Like the best fullback in the last 10 years, but they can't have played for Wigan?
Well, Coop was good for a few years. And
Coop might be the answer.
I don't know. Wellesby's been good, but it's hard when a player's still playing, isn't it? And it's then who do you throw out? Zach Hardacre?
Yeah, Hardacre in the last 10 years played for Wigan, so...
He was good out away from Wigan, wasn't it? It's a tough one, that, you know. Obviously, he went to play centre as well, so can you?
Yeah, can you really keep him as a fullback?
Coop's last couple of years at KR, a couple of head knocks. Ben Barber was exciting for 2 years. Not great defensive.
Coop was better than Barber.
Wellesby?
Made the team better. Wellesby, maybe. But Coop wouldn't... Yeah, I don't know.
That's tough.
It's a tough question. One to think about anyway.
Yeah. Right. Matty, it's been a while, hasn't it?
Yep. It's been 2 months.
2 months. We did our last episode after the grand final. Obviously, the unfortunate side of that. How have you been in them 2 months, mate? How have you been?
Been alright. We saw the Ashes and then kind of forgot about rugby for a bit and had a bit of a break. It takes a lot of effort during the season doing these podcasts, and so nice, I think, well-deserved break for a couple of months and really starting to now get excited for the new season.
Yeah,
you start getting close to Christmas, you're thinking about squads and thinking about fixtures.
There's a couple of things in that we keep having conversations. Have you heard this rumour?
Yeah, what teams have strengthened?
Oh, how many conversations do we have about they've replaced such a body with him, and like, is he an improvement? Nobody will get more game time, and
the teams coming up as well. Obviously recruited heavily. 3 teams coming up, so there's been a lot going on.
A lot. We'll try and make it up today. It might end up being a longer episode, this. Because we have got to start off with the main reason that we're here, a year in review, really, 2025. Not the season that we'll have wanted. We obviously want success. We want trophies at the end of the season. But I do want to say it's been another good year following Wigan. Like, we get to follow the best, the greatest rugby league team in the world. Like, everywhere.
Well, yeah, you can't take for granted the sort of year we just had. I know we've got the most expensive squad and we've got the squad that had won everything, and that does come with a high level of expectation, and we didn't live up to that, and that is what it is. You know, we didn't live up to that, and the season as a whole wasn't good enough because we didn't win any silverware. But when we were kids, that's the end of the season. Last game, no playoffs. We finished 8th, we finished 9th, we finished 10th.
Remember being buzzing that you got in at like 6th?
You get in, you maybe claim a scalp at Bradford away, and then you have a gallant defeat, and you think, really, is that what we are now?
When you look back at it, up until 2010, that was probably the best memory I had. That Bradford game. We didn't go on to win the comp. We were 2-3 years old the last time.
Well, last time we'd won the comp, I was 3 months old.
Yeah.
Last time we'd won a trophy was we were 3 or 4 years old.
Yeah, so. And you don't really remember that. So
been to a few finals as a kid, lost them all.
But our formative years were us
being terrible.
Yeah, and obviously you grow up around Wigan and you know what the town expects, and you know all the levels that this club plays at. And you get the feeling that we're a sleeping giant, but we hadn't proven that. We hadn't gone.
It's easy to say now, it was only a few years between 2005 making the cup final and 2010 winning it. And even you could say, 09, 08, we had reasonable runs in the playoffs and then fell away. So it's not like the lean years that some of these other clubs have had. But then it's Wigan, isn't it?
I'm going to be honest, do you not think like, and you got it with your dad and I got it with mine and his mates and whatever, you're talking about a good player in 2008, 2009 and they're saying, yeah, he's nothing on Ellery who won.
Well, they still say that about the players we've got now.
But that's my point, like, it was always, you knew we were a sleeping giant, you knew that it had been so successful and you'd missed that.
So we are now back to a point where if Wigan don't win every trophy, it's a big disappointment.
Yeah.
And, okay, great.
I'd rather be in that position.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and this season we played with a target on our backs. Teams have come after us and...
As they will do anyway next year.
Yeah, and
we'll still have
that every year.
We'll still have the biggest squad, the most expensive squad. We'll still have the most match winners in the squad, and so it will still be everybody's biggest game.
Yeah.
We just got to relish that.
And then that's the pressure of playing for Wigan. And you talk about how heavy the shirt weighs. And I remember we did the Andy Gregg interview. He talked about the number 7 shirt and wearing the shirt that Ellery Hanley wore. And
you're a custodian of that shirt. I remember Pat Richards saying something similar. He said, like his number 5 shirt, he was a custodian of that shirt. He didn't own it. It didn't belong to him.
It's really tough no matter what position you come in. Whether that's playing...
Wherever you play for Wigan, there's been a legend.
Yeah.
That's the thing, isn't there?
It's like, you go into who could potentially come through now, and obviously, like, Field's at the one. So whoever replaces Field...
He's got big shoes.
Field, Sam Tompkins. And then you start going even further back than that, and some great players. It's a pressure. It's a real pressure. It's a real pressure. Shall we have a look at this season then?
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we said we didn't get the outcomes that we wanted. We didn't win the trophies that we wanted, but there was some very, very high points in this and some low points. And it's probably worth looking at the season as a whole.
Oh, yeah, you have to look at the season as a whole.
And then...
Otherwise, you look at it there and you say, right, after the first week, we were bottom of the table.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because we played first.
Yeah, but my point being is it's worth looking at that and remembering where people wrote us off and where people said we were going to win everything. It's really tough. We obviously started off over in Sheffield. A couple of pre-season friendlies.
I forgot about that. That was the coldest I've ever been.
I still to this day don't know how I got the stuff that woman gave me.
Yeah.
I went for a hot chocolate, warmed my hands up, and she gave me about 8 boxes of stuff.
Maltesers.
I just walked off, just took it. Like,
Jimmy pulled all them pies out his bag.
Yeah.
5 pies each.
I've never been as cold in my life.
That was freezing.
You know what I'm
saying? The person having that crash on the car park as well, knocking that delivery driver over.
As we were leaving. But a 48-12 win, wait. We said this year...
Not going through this week, by the way.
No, but we were on about it. We sent a full side out there. And obviously we had Vegas.
Yeah, we didn't have Miskey or Wardle. That was it.
But like, we sent a strong side out. Sometimes you think, let's try and get through it and take it as another pre-season. But this was a year where we had to do something early. We had to go to Vegas early. 2026.
Yeah. I mean, we just watched the Vegas highlights then. And that's a bit of a refresher. And we just spent the whole game. Well, we spent the first half trying to win the game.
Yeah.
And then we spent the second half trying to score the most outrageous try possible and did a few times. And even to the point where you said there's 3 seconds left and we're winning by 20 points, 30 points even. And Bevan's throwing a miracle pass, trying to get another try in the corner for Miskey. And that's what leads to the interception. So we went to Vegas with a clear game plan to entertain, and to put points on and to show off.
It's weird that was shown obviously the week earlier. We obviously 1-0 to Lee.
The 1-0 game, yeah.
But we went to Hull and we put points on at Hull FC, and it was like, are we coming out here to show how we're playing? And we went over to Vegas and played some of the best rugby.
And then come back and put 40 on again.
Yeah.
The following week, it was like. That's when everyone gets excited. And we're thinking, hang on, pump the brakes, it's round 3.
Yes.
It's round 4. We don't want to peak now. There's no World Cup challenge. I know Vegas was nice to peak and we had to win in Vegas, let's be honest. Wigan had to win in Vegas.
Yeah.
Wigan can't go to Vegas and lose.
But you don't win anything of worth in March, do you?
No.
And that was it. We were the best team in the world again until we lost to Hull FC in the Cup. And
yeah, well.
I'm certain if you checked every group... there would have been 27 people sacked.
Yeah, though that's the thing, that's the high standards that Wigan have got now. And they're victims of their own success in that regard, because no other team, well, Saints when they won 4 in a row, but not now, do you lose one game and the world ends.
Yeah.
Whereas at Wigan, that is what happens.
Is this the end
But
of it?
also, like, if you win one game, we're all of a sudden the best team in the world.
That was it. Obviously, the Challenge Cup loss was hard to take.
Yep.
To be honest, looking back at it,
I actually got off too late deliberately off my train because I was so annoyed. I wanted to walk. I can't go home now. I've got to go an extra stop and walk it back. So that's what I did.
but actually, this could have been a bit of a blessing in disguise, the intense year of 2024, and it gives us a couple of weeks off throughout the season, something we've not had for a while. And I'm just looking and remembering, didn't we go to Leeds the week after and lose to a Ryan Hall header?
I put that in my mind as well. Not necessarily because we lost to the header, because I'll never forget that. But the rain on that day.
We've had some bad weather this year. Yeah, and then we went on to what we're going to do, don't we? Early April, start of May, winning games. We were putting lots of points on. We obviously beat Salford a couple of times by big scores, and that is sort of to be expected with that. And we'll talk about them in more detail. But we had some big wins and important wins, beating Lee, Warrington, Hull KR away. That was a big moment for us. That
was my favourite match this year that I went to. Obviously, we didn't go to Vegas, but that match was my favourite. The Hull KR one. We got back at about 2:15. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
On that bus home, it took an hour to get off the ground. Another hour to get out of Hull.
But it was a big win, and
it was a huge win.
And that, I think, was it a 10-game winning streak we went on until we ended up losing at Wakefield. And that's where maybe a little bit of fatigue, a couple of injuries set in.
Yeah.
And we went for a spell.
There was a time where I think we just scraped past Huddersfield and then lost to Wakefield, and you're thinking, right, we need a bit of a reset here. And you go through that in every season. No team ever goes through the season. I know you could say losing at Leeds. Well, anyone could lose at Leeds, that 1-0 game. But you're not going to go run the table the rest of the way and just lose against good teams. You are going to have slip-ups. You are going to have times where you're not playing really well.
Yeah. I think that's always important to remember. Looking at when it was end of June, start of July, middle of the season, you sort of set up in second, first. You're around the playoffs. You're not worried about making the playoffs now at this point. And
we were always second, really. It felt like we were second all year.
Yeah, we were a considerable way. At the start of that poorer spell where we lost a few games, I think we had a 6-point lead on third. And Hull KR ended up running away with it and getting a substantial points lead on us. But
no, they finished up with a 2 points, two-point lead.
Yeah, we ended up in the right position, and we're coming to the start of August, and that's when Wigan kick in again. We lost to Hull KR, and we then went on a 6-game winning streak at the end of the season from round 22, 23.
All the way up to Old Trafford.
All the way to Old Trafford. And you'd think that's what Wigan do, and they timed it right.
It just felt like we'd timed it again. We'd lost to Hull KR. Okay, that hurt. It clearly hurt. It hurt the players. It looked like we'd then timed it and we're going to go on to win the league. And I was confident at Old Trafford. I was confident until we bombed 2 tries. And one person was saying, I think, oh, well, we've created two glorious chances there. You know, the Farrell dropped it over the line and the French dropped it over. And I'm like, yeah, but you don't waste them. Not in a grand final, you don't.
You don't get 10 chances.
You don't waste those chances in a grand final. Just the whole pitch isn't set up for you getting loads of chances. We've seen in recent years that the grand final, the runners-up have not scored more than 1 try.
Yeah.
Sometimes they've not scored any tries. The grand final, I mean, somebody won the grand final with only scoring 1 try.
It's the way that it's gone, especially probably from Leeds when they beat Castleford into the Saints spell and now into us and KR. The grand final has become less.
Off the top of my head, recently, in the last 5 grand finals, 3 of them the team winning has only scored 1 try. Saints, and we did it twice.
Yeah, and I'm looking at further back. The last one that I remember was when Saints beat Salford.
Saints put some points on Salford towards the end. I mean, they put some points on Leeds as well, didn't they?
Yeah, I think they scored a couple later on.
But it was later on. It was a close game, but then they put some points on.
But that's what you expect from finals. You expect the two best teams to defend well.
Yeah, true.
And
yeah, that's why they got to the final.
And you can't blow them chances. And
no, you can't.
As much as the optimist in us is saying we made 2 big chances, well, we've got a chance here. Hull KR fans and players, what are you going to be saying there? They're just blown 2 chances.
This is our chance to get back in it. And they were awful the first 15-20 minutes, and we were all over them.
Yeah, and you've got to capitalise on that.
You do. And then, it's a disappointing season for sure. But I'm sure, I don't want to speak for you there, but I'm sure we think that this coaching staff and this management are going to get it right. We trust them.
Well, there was one big moment from it, and a little bit got made out about it. He made them stand there and watch it.
I think every coach does that, though. The only coach I remember not doing that is Mike Namara.
But I think what I mean by stand there and watch it, normally you see them sort of spread out a bit, go and have the moment, go and sit down. Some go into the crowd. But every single one of them, of the 17 and the players on the bench were stood together, and it was a bit... As soon as I saw that, I thought, we'll be all right next year.
Yeah, well...
Because it hurts.
It's worth saying, there was obviously a moment there where we were saying goodbye to a few lads. And when you play in a team, that's a huge deal. And, we've only played in amateur sides, so you don't see each other through the week. I can't imagine what it'd be like if you see each other every day. The bonds you'd form then. And some of them for many years, in the case of Liam Byrne and Harvey Hill, we're finishing. Also worth mentioning, we'd lost Willie Isa this year.
Yeah.
That was right at the start. And Jacob Douglas, of course. But I think, it's tough to lose those players. And it's tough to say goodbye to them because you've gone through a lot of battles with them. And we're now in a position where we have been a bit weakened by those understandable departures.
Yeah, all of them. You look at all of them. Hill, I think he's got the number 10 shirt, hasn't he, at Hull FC?
It serves it if he has.
Liam Byrne will be a starting prop at Warrington.
And he'll be getting paid like a starting prop.
Yeah. Douglas has gone. I think he's got the number 23 or 24. You'd expect him to be the backup winger, outside back. Obviously, they signed him McDonald since then. But he's going for a bigger role. He was behind Zach Eckersley, clearly, at Wigan.
He was, yeah.
And Willie Isa. How would you replace Willie Isa?
Well, I don't know if you can. But Willie's contribution to a number of different positions and to the squad as a whole, off the field.
Culture-wise.
Yeah.
Culture-wise, you only have to watch the documentary of 2024.
To see how big of an impact he had, yeah.
Even when injured and the stuff he did pre-Challenge Cup. And again, I think we would have been a better team this year if we'd have had a Willie Isa.
Yeah, I think if we had Willie Isa or had time to replace Willie Isa, I don't think Liam Farrell or Junior Nissan would play as many games as they did.
Yeah.
Which I do think had an impact on their seasons. I think we're in a similar position now, especially if we want to use Walters as a prop, which I would. We're in a similar position now. Whether or not we have a second rower, whether that's Johnny Vaughan, whether that's somebody from the academy who's ready, I don't know. But I do think there needs to be somebody to take some of the strain from those two lads.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be a million miles away with that. So yeah, that's obviously going to be looked at a little bit more when we do our pre-season 2026 and we dive into each squad and where we're going to at, because there's still some questions about this squad and improvements. But I want to carry on looking at 2025. Now I'm going to ask you for your moment of the year, Matty. game of the year, whether it's a specific moment in a game, but I'm not letting you have Las Vegas.
Okay.
Because that was just a brilliant moment. Winning in Vegas, it would have been an easy option, and I'm going to make it a little bit tougher for you.
Okay. Well, I my favourite win, as I've said, was Hull KR away. I think my favourite moment has got to be the match-winning try at Huddersfield, where Jack Farriman scored, and it was a great piece of skill from Eckersley to pass it back inside. Yeah,
I think we all went berserk that he didn't go himself, and then Farriman scored.
Or Liam Farrell's try at Warrington, where we shift it wide, and Eckersley kicks it back inside. I'm shouting for him to kick it to Lehman, and he kicks it to Farrell. And
say that's where we're starting to roll.
That was where we started. We're starting to roll here. You're starting to roll.
You know what I'm going for. This might not matter to other people as much as it matters to us, but we went to Castleford on a Saturday.
8 p.m. on a Saturday.
8 p.m. on a Saturday. And we'd obviously played cricket, finished the game.
8 overs to spare. You're welcome for that.
Yeah, okay.
That run rate.
Finished the game. Don't know how we got changed and ready as quick as we did.
We had a shower.
Into the car, got over to Castleford for 2 minutes before kick-off.
Yeah.
And then we were losing.
Got one of them pizzas.
Yeah, got one of them pizzas.
Yeah, we still had time to get the pizza.
Yeah. We got there a lot quicker than I thought we would. But the big thing with this was, we got there and we were losing with about 8 minutes to go. And we kicked the 2 to go 20. Was it 20 apiece, I want to say?
20 apiece.
Yeah, it was. And I was a bit, with 5 minutes to go, I was like, are we not backing ourselves
I do remember
here?
there was a conversation, and I'm sure I said, get the ball back, roll and score.
Yeah.
And we did.
And that's what we did. But I remember there being a little bit of a thing in the crowd and around people that, are we not going for it here? We're not fancy ourselves to score. We take the 2, roll downfield, and then J-Field gets it on that block play. And I think he might throw somewhere between 97 and 100 side steps and beats Alex Mellor.
The reason this was so good is because we were so in line with it.
Yeah.
We were basically the second man in defensively. And so we saw it so perfectly, him drift outside the man. And
he does so well to straighten him up and then go again on the outside.
I think your dad just started running off.
Yeah.
He'd gone.
Yeah. He'd had an argument over Liam Farrell.
He was defending Liam Farrell to somebody who was nowhere to be seen when the try got given. I think he might have been
him back.
He was looking for him. Yeah, that's where he went.
But obviously, as field goes through, you just know Liam Farrell is going to be there. He has made a career out of being in the right place at the right time to bag a try.
Yep.
And was absolutely brilliant that to score. And I just think that overall,
that feeling for us because what we'd done already, we won the game and tried to get there as quickly as we could, and
then we'd not played well either. We'd played well in 2 minute spells, score really well. You think let's roll them, and then we knock on.
Yeah,
and
I think we've gone into half time with a lead, and then immediately conceded around the second half, something like that.
Yeah. Right now, your try of the year. So
try of the year. I'm allowed Vegas for this.
Go on.
Yeah,
go on.
With Vegas, Luke Thompson, Vegas.
See, I thought you were going to say the Jake Wardle.
I preferred. I thought it was a bit. That was off the cuff, and I like a more of a team flowing move. But that was more off the cuff, brilliant. For try of the year, I always like to pick a.
But the Thompson one, how good is the pass from Bevan?
Yeah,
back inside to Forber.
Where he makes everyone think he's passing it out wide.
Yeah, he dummies outside again. Looks inside. Goes outside, sorry, and then just pops it up to Forward.
I mean, we were just pouring it on that game.
Yeah.
It's not fair that, we're just pouring it on.
No. You know what I'm going for? And more because it meant a lot in the situation. But Jay Fields at the end of the year at St Helens. Because that was one thing that was hanging over Matty Pete's head, that he'd not won at St Helens. We had a good chance the year before. Sort of blown it with a red card and a yellow card to Dupree. And at 10-4, I'm thinking, 12-4, I'm thinking we win this game. We're going to win it.
Yeah.
But then the kick from Purcell comes and Bevan scooping it up. It reminded me so much of the try we scored against Hull KR in that game you spoke about earlier.
Yeah.
Where they put Budgie in touch and French finds field. But I think there's something so brilliant about it in that situation, the pick up and flick, and to just be looking for each other.
Yeah.
As soon as anything happens, where are you? We were watching a game on the TV before we started recording this, and you can see them both every single time the ball goes free. They just start pointing at each other.
Yeah.
It's like he's there, get it in, and something will come off the back of it, and that was it.
Yeah.
He sees Bevan picking the ball up. He's not thinking defensively. He's not thinking, well, let's just make sure he doesn't knock on and
I'm thinking, let's score a try.
let's go try. And
here comes that iconic image of Tristan Saylor chasing after him as well.
yeah, the guy that they told us was a better version of them both.
Yeah, like a jive bar and a Twix.
Yeah, and he's absolutely not even in the same postcode. He gives up chasing. Darryl Clark still.
Clark tried to catch him still.
And the try, the celebration, I don't remember the minute after. It's just brilliant all round.
Yeah, do let us know if you've got a favourite try or a favourite moment or a favourite match or
Yeah,
whatever.
we'll put something out on the social medias.
Do let us know.
Here's one. Try and pick something different. You know, like
Pick one that nobody else has picked.
yeah. Give us your favourite.
Well,
and
it's
then,
nice
like,
to have a reason. Like the one you said there about when we got to Cass because we just won the game. That's a reason that not many people would pick that game, but we did because of that reason. Or you might have, it was your first away game for so long, or you got to meet one of the players beforehand. I don't know. Like you always remember that Salford game because we met Cade Ellis and Jay Field at Trafford Centre before and asked them what they'd had on the subway.
Yeah. Elite athletes having a subway.
But you remember that because of that reason.
But there are things like that in the first game you take your kid to, and all these different stuff. So if you get anything like that, send it in, and we'll happily talk about brilliant Wigan moments as long as we can.
Yeah.
Right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the other 11 Super League clubs and go through their season. Now we're going to have a look at the rest of Super League. We do this every year. We have a look through and our general thoughts and feelings. We're going to go in the table order. So we're going to start at the bottom with Salford. Well, that's a tough year, isn't it? They got 3 wins. So fair play to them.
Yeah.
Beat Castleford, to beat Warrington. I can't remember who they beat early on in the season.
Huddersfield
Early on. Financial problems all the way through.
Yeah.
Then
Impossible task. Players playing without being paid, staff members being laid off. Yeah, it's an impossible task.
Impossible.
It's impossible for them to do anything.
I think the one positive of this, a lot of young lads getting game time and you know what, seeing what's happening now potentially with an owner coming in. I know they're the only team to obviously be relegated from Super League because of the grading and the financial situation, but hopefully they get taken on by a far better owner. The reports are that it's Mason Caton Brown's
Fingers crossed.
leading a consortium. Hopefully they find the right owners, whether that's him or not. I don't know. I don't know enough details about it, but hopefully
we'll see him back.
they consolidate. They build again, and they build more sustainably than has done previous. And am I right in saying they've just been admitted into the league for the Championship?
Well, yeah, they were, but then they had the winding up order, so they might not be able to. Well, might have to be a Phoenix club or something, which will start at the bottom division. I don't know.
We'll find out in the coming days with that. Right, now on to the rest of the team. None of these teams have conversations around financial problems. This is purely performance based, really, for the rest of these. And Castleford, 27
Castleford
league.
finishing 11th is incredibly disappointing because you think if Salford had it figured out, they'd finish bottom.
Yes,
And Castleford, really, with the squad they've got, shouldn't be finishing bottom.
they got 3 more wins.
Yeah, done aside who
played with a different team
Almost
every week.
100 players, yeah.
Really, really poor. What's the highlight going to be? They beat Wakefield.
That's a highlight, yeah. Always if they beat Wakefield, that's a highlight.
And they beat a couple of teams around them. But this was a side that had improved again. They brought in Dejanasi. They had Sexy Tex at the back. They bring Tom Amon in halfway through the year. But how many rounds in was it that they sacked Danny Maggs?
About halfway, would you say?
I don't think it was that. I think it was like round 9.
Yeah.
That's just not whatever. And he got brought in from Hull KR to lead this thing forward. They brought in Chris Chester.
Mm-hmm.
Whether there's a disagreement there and the reasoning behind that, but they've looked like they've spent well on paper for 2026.
Who do you think was their best player? I'll do this for every team, apart from Salford. Who was their best player and maybe one shining light?
I've got a couple that stand out. Liam Horn.
I think
always plays well.
Dejanasi was probably their best player.
Yeah, but I still think I expect more from him.
Yeah. Fletcher Rooney. Looks like they're going to let Tex leave.
They've signed
let Tex leave.
They've signed the Aussie, haven't they? Blake Taff. I thought Rowan Milnes when he played. He was always a handy half. But when you finish 11th with 6 wins, you lose 21 games. Can't be that many people that played well for you. And there's a couple of strange things that have gone on, and this goes into the preview a little bit, but they've let Sam Wood go? That's a strange one. Like, he was an England international a couple of years ago. Club captain. Mid-season, players leaving. I don't think the recruitment before 2025 was great.
Not in the forwards, especially.
And I don't know, I feel like they keep waiting to just sign someone and it all click.
Not going to happen. Well, the only chance is changing the coach, but they have done. They've got Ryan Carr. Yeah,
they brought Chris Chester in, who obviously did a good job at Lee in that role.
Yeah. Then they made him be coach.
Yeah, he became interim.
He's clearly not happy with that.
No, I do wonder whether it's one of them, when you're director of rugby and you're waiting for your guy to come in, do you just say, well, I'll do it and I'll take the stick for
6 months.
Rather than appoint an assistant that you want to keep on at the club.
Yeah.
And actually, you can then see a little bit of the squad in more detail and run training sessions. It might have been a benefit.
It might inform his decisions as director of rugby now.
There was some strange interviews.
There were some very strange interviews, yeah.
And the whole thing about we're not shopping at Netto anymore.
Yeah.
And then...
Don't like that messaging at all.
I don't like the messaging, but was it Griffin who then said he hadn't been paid, but they hadn't informed people that because he was leaving, he'd be paid on a different day?
Yeah.
Like, you just set yourself up to look bad, in my opinion. I think you end up like create a situation out of nothing. And if you'd have just said, made no comment on it, we're going to make some changes, blah, blah, blah. No one really picks up on it. But what do I know about running a rugby league club? Going into 10th, we're still in double figures here. Another team, Huddersfield. Luke Robinson's first full season.
Yeah.
A lot of talk was that they should have done a little bit better. They'd obviously made the signing of Tom Burgess at the start of the season. 7 wins, 20 losses.
I'm a bit more optimistic about these than Cass because a lot of the games, they were in games and the expectations were lower, do you think?
Yeah.
The expectations were lower and they did about the same as Cass.
Yeah. I just look at them and I
feel like Castleford fans were expecting playoff push.
My issue with them at the moment, is it next year they're going to the Shea?
Yes, I think.
I look at them, and their shining light has obviously been George Flanagan at fullback and played a little bit in the halves. I can just see the same thing as Will Price happening.
Him leaving?
Him leaving and going to NRL, or him leaving and going to
League.
A mid-table Super League team or a top 4 Super League team. And then you go, well, you're then waiting around for your next big talent. And they've lost a couple of players this year. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
They're now going to have lost Ash Goulding, losing the experience of Cudjoe. doesn't make things easy.
It doesn't fill me with confidence.
No.
For Huddersfield going forward. No, not at all.
And then just a bit, don't want to say concerned, but I feel they're very close to one step forward, one step back, one step forward, one step back, and that's how it's been.
They need to make some progress pretty rapidly because there have been 3 teams promoted. There will be other teams nipping at their heels, and I do think we need to start seeing some progress from some of the teams that have been in here for a while.
Yeah,
Especially if we're going to try and give the new teams that have just come up, if we try and give them a bit of grace, which I don't think we will, but I would.
but my issue when I look at Huddersfield, and obviously I don't want to preview too much, but them 3 teams that have come up, to me, have recruited better. I might be better than Huddersfield and Castleford already. So they're going to have to do something. They're going to have to step up. I didn't see enough of it this year. I hear a lot of good things about Luke Robinson, and that he's highly rated as a coach, but he's going to be under pressure.
Yeah, he'll be in the hot seat, yeah. He will be.
Right, we're going to travel over to France. Catalans, obviously, mid-season sacking of Steve McNamara. Which led to a really interesting story, I should say, of the Tavita Pangai Jr. situation, where he left Catalans because he didn't get along with Steve McNamara.
And now he's at what?
He signed for Warrington. He's now gone back on that contract because he doesn't like Steve McNamara, who has been appointed there. But Catalans underperformed again. Finished 9th this year.
Very disappointing, Catalan Dragons this year. Very disappointing.
2024, they just missed out on the playoffs.
They only signed Luke Keary and Nick Cottridge. You're thinking, whoa.
And Whitehead.
Whitehead. You're thinking, whoa.
I
again, I will make the joke that someone's got the Rugby League almanac from 2019 and got all the players that were good then, but still, those are good, experienced players, and they've put in some awful performances.
But do you not think when it comes to Catalan, so 2019, 2020, 21, the building, they get to the semi in 20, they get to the final in 22 against
21. They got to the final against Saints.
Against Saints. 22, they do well. 23, they get to the final.
They got to the playoffs in 22 and Leeds beat them.
Yeah.
To finish 4th or 3rd.
But then they lose to us in the playoffs, and you sort of think that's the time that they've missed the chance, they've got to go and rebuild. And we're 2 years on and they've not done any rebuilding because they just went back to the old Aussies.
By the old Aussies, yeah.
And you think sometimes, do they bring in... I thought bringing Theo Farjan would have been a decent signing, a French lad with some experience.
It seemed like a slam dunk now, but he's left already.
And
to go and play, not professionally, I think he's playing in peer.
And if you're saying after 2023 they would take a step back in 24, miss out on the playoffs, but rebuild, they're now further away.
2024, 2024, they missed the playoffs on the final day.
Yeah.
This year, they were never going to be in it.
Never going to be in it. They've lost so many good players, or so many important players. The lads who have stayed are all getting a year older.
You've got a very inexperienced coaching setup.
Yeah, I think this could get worse before it gets better.
Maybe.
And it got worse this year.
Maybe. It definitely got worse this year.
That was the conversation we had before 24. It either gets better and they make the playoffs and probably fall out round 1, but it didn't get worse. And they went down that option of getting worse. And I was disappointed in some of the ways they played. And it's just not what you expect from a Super League team. Warrington. This is definitely what you call a season of 2 halves, isn't it? First half of the season started off pretty well. Bring Mark Sneed in, I thought that was a clever piece of business.
Yeah.
After Vegas, obviously young Ollie Leyland struggled at Vegas and probably wasn't ready physically.
But demolished. Season turned on one moment, which was the Challenge Cup final defeat. I mean, they weren't playing amazingly by the time the Challenge Cup final came around, but here's a chance to win some silverware for the first time in ages.
And kick on.
It's the first chance it's a chance for Burgess to get his first silverware on the board. We've been there before. We have lost the Challenge Cup final in heartbreaking circumstances, had horrendous injuries and missed the playoffs. We did that in 2017. We lost on the last bit of the game. We had a try ruled out. 2 tries ruled out, actually. Well, what would have won us the game? Then we fell out of the playoffs then. It can happen.
I've just looked. after the Challenge Cup, 14 games and 4 wins.
That can happen. It can happen, especially if it's your second final in a row that you've lost.
But even in that, one of the wins was that Salford win. Where Salford nearly beat them.
Yeah, that'll be for me.
And then Salford go on to beat them later on, don't
Yeah,
they?
they do. Yeah, that's what for me would be thinking. Right, that is terrible because missing the playoffs. You know, like when Catalan did that year, it was just on the last day. There's missing the playoffs, then there's missing the playoffs.
Yeah,
and Warrington were really poor, and that defeat against Salford probably typified that.
So just be clear here, Catalan and Warrington missed the playoffs by 10 points.
Yes.
They were 5 wins away.
Yes.
Now, it is really tough when you look at a league of 12 and there's 6 that make the playoffs and 6 miss out. But you needed 15 wins. You needed over half your games as wins. And they just bottled it.
And things like Salford should be a free win.
Yeah, we kept saying time and time again, well, Warrington, they might just get a win here and a win there and they'll sneak in.
Yeah.
And then they'd blow it. They really did implode.
Yeah.
There was all the stories around prop forward who ended up leaving mid-season. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
But those bad stories that, and you were hearing a lot of rumours coming out.
Zane Musgrove.
Obviously,
that came from very deep in my brain. I haven't thought about Zane Musgrove since that whole incident.
Honestly, it wasn't coming for me. It wasn't coming. But within that,
you could say it was a stab in the dark.
Oh wow,
that might be why he left.
Yeah,
look that up, people.
But you hear all the negatives in. Obviously, Paul Vaughan going to York for
£250,000 in Paul Vaughan in the year 2026 is ridiculous.
But it just feels like there's something wrong in that club at the moment. And we saw all the videos after Vegas. Obviously, Vegas, they really let themselves down in terms of the performance. I know they end up getting 20 odd points.
Let the supporters down.
But you were 42-0 down. Like, any team can throw the ball around and pick up a couple of tries at the end of a game. But then the pictures of them out celebrating like they'd won the grand final. And there's just a couple of things that didn't sit right with me.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying don't go and experience Vegas and enjoy it.
You do need to.
But the pictures we've seen and the pictures that have come out of people riding motorbikes in clubs and
mechanical bull
and just everything. A little bit of me goes, read the room.
To me, it just typifies the difference in coach between the last coach who was shouting his mouth off in the Red Lion.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was, Dog and Duck, whatever pub that was in Warrington. To now somebody's doing it in Las Vegas on a mechanical bull. It's the same thing, but different.
Yeah, and it just doesn't sit right with me.
No, I wouldn't want my coach to be doing that.
I would want Matty Peake go out to have a drink. I'm not saying Sam Burgess and the coaching staff shouldn't.
But be clever about it.
You can't be like that. You can't be like that if you win, first of all.
Yeah.
But then
you can't do that regardless. Unless you won the grand final, you can't be like that.
But it didn't feel right, and I think things slipped around that, and then obviously there was lots of other rumours about things going on. Yeah. So we could talk about that for hours, but poor season, and I know Lewis loves him, and obviously Lewis isn't here today, idolises Burgess and the player that he was, but he's under serious pressure next year to get this right.
Yeah, it's the only time I've ever seen a team release a statement to say that they're going to be keeping the manager or the coach.
I've never seen that before.
Never ever seen that.
They're under pressure. They're under serious pressure.
Big time. You've got McNamara looking over his shoulder, probably.
Well, I was going to ask you this. If you're Burgess, are you happy you've got someone with such experience coming helping you?
Yes.
Or are you thinking...
Knowing how confident Burgess is, I think he's delighted that he's got somebody with such experience and such a good coach with him. Because he's like, well, he'll help me turn it around. We'll be unstoppable together.
I don't know, the cynic in me would be going, easier for my job when I'm gone.
Yeah, but Burgess doesn't think like that.
No, I don't think he does at all, but that's maybe the difference in mindset. They've got to turn it around. They really have to turn it around. next year. Right. I'm going to start getting a little bit more positive.
Mm.
In 7th, just missing out on the playoffs by 3 points, Hull FC. 27 games, 27 points.
Hull FC.
They drew to Lee early on in the season.
They had good recruitment, let's say.
Yeah.
They had some good recruitment last year. Some clever signings, some important players in key positions with experience to stop the whole use of all those kids.
Yeah, there's a couple that stand out.
All
for me.
of a sudden, the ones that stayed in the team look a lot better.
Yeah, and obviously Lewis Martin has had a phenomenal year.
Yeah.
And I want to say this at this point, right? A phenomenal year.
Yeah.
But all the talk that he should have been in the Ashes squad is completely ridiculous. Like, we'd just burn an 18, 19-year-old kid and ruin him.
Mm.
Like, let's let him have 2-3 years of this before we throw him in that arena. I probably won't even be looking at him for this World Cup. Unless something happens.
Unless he has an amazing year, and then even then I'm taking him and not playing him.
Yeah. I just through that and then get into the next cycle.
Yeah.
But this was a massive improvement. Zach Hardacre, and you talk about the signings that they made, I think Zach Hardacre was a great signing for them.
Proved to be a good signing, didn't he? Aiden Caesar as captain.
Filled in at one, filled in the centres. I think he played games in the halves.
He played second row. Yeah, he played almost every position.
Ultimate professional. Asiata was a good signing. Obviously picked up a nasty injury. But a lot of the videos I've seen as well, I'm going to add this for this season. Asiata leading the culture and talking, and every youngster behind him will learn a lot from him. So I think about who else they've signed. They made a couple of signings. Rapana. Only got one season out of him, but he's been a bit of a stopgap and got him through a year. Will Price is a good sign.
Obviously then Will Price, yeah.
And hopefully they see the best of him next year. But much improved. This was a side that won what? How many games last year? 5, 6?
There's really not many.
And they beat Wigan once.
Yeah.
Like, massive improvement. 13 wins and a draw.
Yeah.
That is the benchmark for being around the top 6. If you can get half your games wins,
you get half of them, yeah.
You're being around it. Now, we're into the top 6. And I'm going to do this in order of when they got knocked out of the playoffs.
Okay.
Yeah, so the first team knocked out were Wakefield. Finished 6th.
Yeah.
They lost to Lee in the playoffs in the first round.
They did. Lee blew them away, really. Well,
blew them away.
Yeah, kind of blew them away.
I think it was what we all thought was going to happen. 26-10.
It's that thing where you work so hard to get in the playoffs.
Yeah.
In fact, it happened to Lee
the first year.
A couple of years ago, yeah.
2023.
And this time Lee were at the other end of it. She was on the other foot, so to speak. So
it was one of them. They never really in this game wakey. 18-0 at half time, and they've got to try back. But Lee were classy. That experience of playoffs now. But looking at Wakefield, what a season for them.
Yes, fantastic season.
15 wins, 12 losses.
Yeah. Johnston got to get to 100 tries.
Yeah.
You had signature win against Wigan, signature win against Hull KR at home.
Did they beat St Helens?
Big win against Leeds, I think, maybe.
But what I will say for Wakefield is they'll look back at this and they have to go down the Lee route.
Yeah.
It was good.
They have to improve on it.
Have to get better. They slipped up at some silly points. They had a big loss to Castleford, which I know it's a rivalry and whatnot, but you have to be confident to beat a side who finish 11th. I think they've improved the squad again. I like some of the signings that they've made. But this squad is Super League ready and they should be pushing around that mark. To me, I thought they were going to finish 8th. They've overachieved in my expectations.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the players are just one step too far.
We'll come up against a good team away from home. That's going to happen. And like we were saying before, when we were kids, that happened to us.
Now, the next team we're going to talk about is Leeds. They finished 4th in the league.
Yeah.
But were knocked out in the playoffs by 5th place St Helens. They finished the season on 18 wins. A net of 300-point difference. Improved defensively.
Everybody's grand final darlings, weren't they?
Yeah, there was a lot of talk. Obviously, they have the Man of Steel winner, Jake Connor.
Yeah. They do. And they had the biggest choke of the season, letting Shane Wright score in the last second in the playoffs at home.
Yeah, they lose 16 points to 14. Shane Wright scored after the hooter had gone.
With the free play that we always say never works because they're just chucking it around.
Yeah.
But
you get one of them a season that
Leeds
scores.
you don't even get one of them a season. Leeds decided not to play competent defence and
Missed 7 tackles on Harry Robertson.
Tackles and all just jump on the same player.
I'm also going to say that might be the best pass of the season from Sailor. And I
Ridiculous.
I slated him this year. But
Yeah, a couple of my mates go watching Saints and they said he always tries that in the warm-up and they're always saying, why are you trying that? You're never going to do it in a game. And they just pulled it off in the game.
But Leeds, this just feels a little bit of a letdown. Falling short there.
Yeah, if you win that, you hold on there.
You go to KR.
You go to KR and get beat honourably like Saints did. You think, okay, fine.
We're back in it.
We're back next year. We're going to go one better. But the way they crashed out, and obviously optically it doesn't look great with all the falling out. And yeah, so I think they'll be back. And they've got a good coach.
Yeah, I just don't know what to make of this season for them.
I still think it's positive.
It's an improvement. Last year they finished 8th. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel.
Yeah.
I'm still asking the same questions that I was asking the year before.
Yeah.
I know they obviously... And again, we're going a little bit into the preview, but the name Ash Hanley at centre. It's not centre. Been a winger his entire career. Just little things like that I don't know how I feel about for Leeds. One thing I will comment on, it definitely became a fortress again. Going back to Headingley.
yeah.
It got a little bit more vocal. It was a little bit more on you. And yeah, we'll talk about the Ashes later, but we were in the Western Terrace for the Ashes.
No.
No, we weren't.
South Stand.
South Stand.
And it was such an experience being in there and realising what it was like.
What it's like for home fans. Actually, it's quite good, this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, it's good.
How am I dry?
All these amazing, like, toilets are really clean. And you got
There's a roof.
Lots of options for food and drink. Like, a club shop. Oh, this is brilliant. Yeah, I've got a roof. You can hear the PA system.
Yeah.
This is a proper city.
But there was them steps backwards. Jake Connor, Man of Steel, probably should mention.
Yeah, gotta mention Man of Steel, Jake Connor.
He,
no good snake.
Yeah, I'm going to give him some credit before I select the system. I do think he showed a side of his game that I didn't think he had.
I don't think anybody saw Jake Connor scrum half at the start of the season. You know,
No.
He was going to be used. Brad Arthur was thinking, well, I'll find a way to get him in somehow. He was going to be used fullback. He was going to be used centre.
Yeah.
Don't think anyone predicted scrum half.
No, not at all.
Dream team scrum half from Jake Connor.
And he's played well.
Yeah.
But I look at that combination of Crofton, Connor, and they're very similar in types of players. They're both creative half-backs. And I think they're going to have to find...
I think Croft kind of turned that down a bit and became a bit more organising this year, which I did like out of him.
Yeah.
Quite like that.
But isn't he the most expensive player in Super League?
He was. I'm sure Bevan French has gone back. Those two, for a while, kept signing contracts to outdo each other.
Yeah.
I don't know who currently has the higher...
But he's up there.
Yeah.
And you signed him to be this Man of Steel, creative half-back, and he had to change his game. But there's a lot of questions. Obviously, I don't like the system of Man of Steel. And without going into the Ashes preview, Sean Wayne said it. He doesn't look at who wins the Man of Steel.
No.
Because it doesn't mean
It's
anything.
not in Australia.
but it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean... No, it doesn't mean
When-
the best player in the league. No, not even close.
It means you're the best player in your side. And that side's done pretty well. We can go through the Man of Steels and... We might do this one day. Might sit there and go, who actually should have won it that year and who should have won it this year. But...
What's been the worst Man of Steel? Because it's definitely not Jake Connor. The worst...
No, I know.
The most egregious
I got it right now.
Man of Steel.
2020.
Paul McShane.
Paul McShane. How Bevan French didn't win Man of Steel that year, I will never know.
Yeah.
He was the best player in the comp by a million miles.
Yeah.
But that then goes into the one the year after,
where Fields was phenomenal in
That
22.
was a couple of years after.
A couple of years after.
Brodie Croft won it.
Brodie Croft wins it. Because people don't take points off him.
Yeah.
Like, people don't understand that about the system. You have to be a standout in your team to win it, not be the best player in the league.
Yeah.
So,
2024, who won it then? Mikey Lewis. Probably deserved it.
well, 2024, do you not think Bevan deserves Man of Steel?
No.
But I thought Mikey Lewis deserved it this year.
The year Bevan won it, he deserved it. The year after.
In 23.
Yeah, that's the year he deserved it.
But then I look, 2024 wins so many big games when it matters.
Yeah, but the problem was, one of them was in the World Club Challenge and one of them in the Challenge Cup final, and they don't count towards Man of Steel.
No, I know. But the best
And
player he got.
the grand final was after it was picked, so he missed too many games. He missed 10 games in the league, so...
But I'd then argue that I think Mikey Lewis deserved it this year.
I reckon. I thought Lachlan Lamb deserved it this year.
I thought Lockie Lamb deserved to be in the conversation, and that was very, very just ignored.
Yeah.
But
We know about Man of Steel anyway, let's talk about Man of Steel.
Yeah.
Lewis deserved it when he won it, but Connor really didn't deserve it this year.
yeah. Right, now we're going to talk about the two teams that made it to the semis and lost. Saints went to Hull KR. Now, they lose 20 points to 12 in the end.
Gallant.
They put the effort in, probably weren't good enough to ever beat them, not creative enough.
No.
It's the same conversation we had in 2024 about St Helens.
Not dynamic enough, not cutting enough
Yeah.
when it come down to it. Solid, but not cutting enough.
And I'm going to say it, we go back to the first game of the season, they put 80 points on Salford. And I think this was the game where I ended up in an argument with Vossi because he was tweeting about Sailor getting 5 tries.
Well,
4 tries or whatever it was.
Sailor became the betting odds favourite for Man of Steel.
Yeah, against the Salford team that had one player in it. But I remember going into an argument and he was going, oh, well, Tompkins' first game, he scored however many tries. I was like, yeah, he was a 17-year-old lad. There's a difference to this. Like,
Yeah.
Sailor's 26.
Yeah.
I don't think at any point they knew their best team.
I still don't think they do.
Even if anyone was fit, and that's what I'm going to say.
You put in Denny McDonald in, you put in Hastings in. Great, I think those are 2 fantastic signings. How do you put them in? Well, Paul Rowley's paid to work that out, I suppose.
But that was the issue they had in 23, 24. They didn't know the best side.
Yeah. They pinned a lot of blame on Lewis Dodd.
In 23.
Yeah, and then we should have mentioned him actually in the Catalan. Oh, we'll mention him in the preview next year. But yeah, obviously then it's still not brilliant. The attack's still not brilliant when Lewis Dodd's left. And you think, well, probably wasn't his fault then.
Yeah. And you know what they did lose when Dodd left? A kicker preferred to do long kicking.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be funny, you saw Lomax and Wellesby and Mbai try it.
Sailor in the halves.
But there's a difference to being a long kicker and a kicker who can just boot it.
Who do you think was Saints' best player this year? Darryl Clark?
Morgan Knowles.
Yeah.
Morgan Knowles, I think that is such a big loss for them.
Knowles, Lees, Clark. But think about where these players play.
Yeah, Clark was important.
Like what position these guys play.
Clark was important. Matty Lees played. Morgan Knowles played so many minutes at 13. It's just so difficult. But
I think it's difficult to look past Morgan Knowles.
the one I'm going to say is obviously Harry Robertson. Sort of made a name for himself at centre. Me and you sort of disagree on this.
Yeah, I think that he should stay at centre and become one of the league's best centres.
I think he should be at 1, me.
I don't think you can force that.
There's just something I've seen. I watched him in 2024 when he played at fullback. There's something special about him.
There is,
And I just think... I also argue now you've got Nenny McDonald and Percival. How would you not play them?
I'm a big fan of Wellesby, you see, as well, so I think that's probably why I'm thinking keep Robertson at 3.
But going off the numbers that they've given...
Nenny McDonald on the wing, maybe. Is he wasted there?
Is he... Well, Cal Felt's going to take one of them.
If your back line is Wellesby, Felt, Robertson, Percival, McDonald, that's a serious back five.
So you're not playing Lewis Murphy?
No, not if I've got them. If I've got that as a back 5, I'm playing that. That's lethal.
I've already worked out what my team is if I was Saints coach. I'm not, but Robertson plays 1 for me.
Where else we playing? 6.
He's playing 6 with Hastings.
Yeah, who's kicking long?
Hastings.
They're going to kick long anyway, even if they don't.
That's what I mean.
Even if they put Hastings and Lomax.
And then you've got.
I'm looking forward to seeing what he does because there's an exciting team there.
There could be, but I don't know how you go from being so poor defensively, offensively, and they brought Breers in, who worked wonders with Wigan. And if you ask people now, we wouldn't have won anything without Breers.
We did win loads without Breers.
Yeah, but if you ask people, it's built off Breers.
Right, yeah.
And in a year did nothing.
Because he's Wigan through and through.
But you know what I mean? Like, I get getting rid of the head coach. But is Paul Rowley going to completely revolutionise it by himself?
I'm looking forward to seeing what Paul Rowley can do because he has very often been the guy making chicken salad out of chicken, you know what, or he's, you can say all the one making a sow's ear into a silk purse. You can have all the catchphrases you want. He's always been the guy punching up, doing better than the sum of its parts, making his teams together and all this.
So Salford always punched above the weight.
Lee always punched above the weight when he was there.
But we've seen coaches that have done that go to big clubs and not get it right.
Ian Watson.
I've got an obvious one. Darryl Powell.
Darryl Powell, Durl, yep.
Yeah.
Definitely Durl.
And it's a different pressure.
Mm.
It's a different pressure.
It's very different. It's a different style of coaching. Yeah. Very different style.
And now, going off the teams that we've just named, without being funny, you're going to not be picking Tristan Saylor. You're going to have a big Aussie import and not in your team. If he goes without a team, he might pick something different.
We had that with Cade Coast.
Yeah. There's a big personality to not play him and keep not playing him. And to stick to what you're doing without being rude to Salford, but when you were at Salford, you had your 13, like it was obvious who you were going to pick. And if someone gets injured, you bring someone in, but
I suppose
you don't have much options, do you? Right. The other team that didn't make it through the playoffs was Lee. Another good year. Obviously, this year they didn't pick up any silverware. They picked up the Challenge Cup in 2023.
They got the monkey up. Well, they treated it like silverware, beating us. Get the monkey off the back, beating us beating Wigan away for the first time.
Yeah,
since 1984.
Was it 2 out of 3 they beat us in the normal season? They had some big fixtures, some big
signature wins.
Signature wins. They beat St Helens and Warrington back to back. Beat OKR. I forgot they beat OKR at home after beating us. That was a massive spell. But they're gonna have to find a way to break that ceiling down now. I like the signing that they've made in the half-back. I think that'll help Lachlan Lamb out. Obviously, they're going to have Armstrong back.
That's what they were missing, really, wasn't it? They were missing Armstrong and they were missing a 6. I think they'll be better again.
Yeah.
I really do.
Lachlan Lamb had a great year. 41 try assists.
Yeah, and they go as he goes. As far as Lee goes, I think he's a fantastic player. Yeah.
I actually, I'm going to say, I think he's the most important player at Lee.
Oh, yeah.
Over Pape.
Oh, massive. He's so much more important. So much more important.
Because a lot of his work is missed. And
yeah, you don't see exactly what Lab does all the time, whereas if Pape flies out and puts a shot on somebody, even though he just missed one, it looks amazing. Or it lets him get a quick play of the ball or whatever. I think, definitely. I think Lam is one of the most important players in the league.
We have to go to that next level. Obviously, fell out of the Challenge Cup at the semi-final. They lose to Warrington in the semi.
To Warrington, in the semi.
I'm going to say, I think it was the semi. Yeah, it was.
It was. It was.
And now they're going to be hunting for silverware, obviously. The debacle around tickets for the semi-final.
Yeah. Still going on.
Well, they're not sticking with the stadium name.
Yeah, they're not changing the stadium name. They've got a new shirt that's themed after the Greatest Showman. I really want them to get Zac Efron to a game or something like that.
They're due for something like that.
Hugh Jackman leading out the teams.
And I'll put it on the record. They've so massively improved. But I don't think you've really got to become clinical in your behaviours and your performances on and off the field if you want to.
You're talking about outside noise?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even...
I'm not saying it massively affect them, but if 1% of your focus is on what's going on, then you're at a detriment.
What you've got to do is find the balance, because obviously things off the field are bringing people to the game.
Yeah.
That's fantastic, you know. And Bullmania got the balance for a long time.
Yeah.
And then it kind of became a spectacle.
But I'll give Lee credit because they're selling out. They're selling it out. They've got big sponsors on board. They've got more members than they've ever had before. I am impressed.
Debo Performance, making the shirts now.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Debo Performance.
Yeah,
I know what it is.
yeah.
But you've got to go to that next level. Everything has to become clinical if you want to become the guy at the top of the hill. And at the moment, they're just taking shots at them, but they're not.
But they could be.
They could be. They could be very much.
We were very clear in saying that the standoff was stopping them reaching the top of the mountain.
They've signed one. He's highly thought of.
If he's any good, he'll probably might take him to the top.
He's highly thought of.
If you get, like, you know when Brodie Croft came over, or Hastings came up, if you get one like that, then you have a chance of winning the league. As league.
Yeah.
Definitely, because you can go a much more complete team there.
The question is,
becomes over.
Can he become the cherry on the cake? Now the rest of them have to keep performing. But when you look at that side, they've got the skeleton.
Lamb has recruited well from Australia because, of course, French and Field were both signed by Adrian Lamb.
Yes. Doesn't really talk about that.
He never mentions it. I think we should talk about it more, just because he never talks about it. He never mentions it.
But the point being is, I think they've got the skeleton. They can just find that 1%. Right, the final team to talk about, Hull KR.
Yes.
Fair play, what a season. Yeah. They did the treble.
Yes, they did.
I probably led this conversation on this podcast that I thought they couldn't keep it up. After the Challenge Cup, they carried on playing at a very, very high level, and I never saw that dip.
The thing for me with Hull KR, they obviously did have dips in the season, as any team does. But what impressed me was that in the final, the grand final, it didn't go their way in the first 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And when that's happened before, teams have folded.
It happened to Castleford, didn't it?
It happened to Castleford, it happened to Salford, it happened to Catalan.
It's happened to us.
But yeah, against Bradford. Teams have folded. Teams have given up. They've got in their own heads, checked out, right? It kind of happened to them the year before. I know that was only a 7-point win, but did anybody ever feel like Hull KR were ever going to get close in 2024? Not really. This year, they rallied.
Yeah.
They rallied and they counter-attacked. And for me, that's why they won all those trophies. In the grand final, they were on the ropes in the first half, then came out and just did a blistering 25 minutes, we scored 3 tries. In the cup final, they were 3 minutes away from losing without having scored a try and pulled one out the bag there. That's determination. That's never given in anything like that. The League Leaders' Shield was won off a magic try by Arthur Morg, where you're thinking they're going to lose it. They've lost against Wakefield, they've lost against Leeds or whatever. Come back, could beat Warrington. There's moments there where you think they've deserved this because in the big moments they've stepped up.
Yeah.
And in 2024 we said the same. We said the same for Wigan. In the big moments, finals, end of the season where you're looking for league leaders, they step up a big game players do big things, and Hull had that this year. I think Artur Morg was a good signing mid-season. He made them better.
Yeah.
And look, I don't know if he made them that much better, but if you can have a chance to make your team better, and you're in a championship window mid-season, just do it. Definitely just do it.
Big time. Questions now? Obviously, you're king of the hill.
King of the hill, can you stay there? That's the question for every team that wins it. That's why it's so hard
to go back to back.
To go back to back, it's really difficult.
So we'll see how that goes, and obviously we'll preview them in a little bit more detail.
Yeah, see who they've replaced some big names with.
Big names with. Right, we'll take a quick break though. When we come back, we've got to talk about the Ashes and round up any news. Right, so the Ashes.
Yes.
Not the cricket Ashes that's currently going on, and
it's also 3-0.
It's also 3-0 and ruining my enjoyment.
If we get 8-0 this year,
I can't deal with it. I'm going to have to start following the rugby union team and hope we beat them.
Start following a sport Australia's not good at.
Yeah. First of all, how good was it to just have it back?
It felt big. It felt important. The Ashes, yeah.
You went down to Wembley. I was over at the second game at the Hill Dickinson.
Yes.
And we all went to the head of the game. We'll talk about each one in a little bit more detail here. But they were sellouts. And there was a buzz. And there was a good Aussie contingent. We were in Headingley. Went to Headingley as a group, the six of our mates and whatever. And there's a lot of Aussies in the pub, and it felt like they cared about it.
They reckon there were 8,000 Aussies at Wembley.
It just goes to show that if you take international sport serious,
people want to watch it.
People want to watch it.
Wembley had a lot of people. I was up in the cheap seats. There were a lot of people at Wembley that don't normally watch rugby league. It felt like I was the only one there that normally watches rugby league. It felt like, but that was fun. You know, there's a lot of people there who experienced Ashes rugby league and probably only bought it because it was Ashes rugby league. They weren't going to buy.
But I think I've done that. I've bought tickets to sporting events that I'm not interested in because it's a big game, and I was like, a cheap ticket here. I can go and say I was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's the experience and the memories of being there that club competitions don't really bring you.
No.
Until it's the big games. The three games, let's just briefly talk about them. First one was at Wembley. Mm-hmm. We lose 26 points to 6. That was a disappointment. That was a real disappointment.
That was the biggest disappointment of the lot there for me because we didn't give them a game. It felt like we rocked up expecting to get slaughtered and did get slaughtered, and we didn't really put a fight in. We had no warm-up. Australia played against London Broncos and France. We had no warm-up.
I don't get why.
We had no mid-season tests. We had no mid-season on-field training. We had an off-feet session with 40 players in mid-season, and that was it.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about Sean Wayne a lot at the end of this little bit. But them bringing the 40 players in was to tell people who were on the line, this is what you need to do. And I do think we saw that from the players in Super League. Those that were 50-50s, borderline, might be in the squad, might not be, earned it by the way they played at the back end of the season. I'm going to throw people like Owen Trout in there. It was very obvious what Wayne said about him, and he needed to get a little bit more physical, a little bit more that, and he showed that he could do it. And that's why he got into the squad. So that 40...
Callum Watkins.
Harry Newman. There was a lot of conversation about Harry Newman. That 40 player get-together seemed to actually do the job that it was meant to do. But how can you not play a test before this?
Yeah.
How can you not play 2 warm-up games?
Yeah.
How can you not... I don't know. I saw a lot of the video, the pictures from the preparations, and they got a lot of younger lads from Wigan and Saints. I think there's a few from Warrington, and I think there's a lot from Leeds who'd come over to make numbers up and do whatever.
Yeah.
And that's beneficial, and it's beneficial for the long-term development of our game.
Yeah.
But we should be playing someone.
Mm-hmm.
Should be a contested session.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not happy with that. I'm not happy with the prep, whether that's the RFL, whether that's Sean Way. We don't know who asked for it, who decides these things. But that's
We've got to sort it out quickly because there's a World Cup next year.
Yeah, and we were undercooked winning that first game. 26 points to 6 down, I think.
We had a try very late as well from Darryl Clark. It was going to be 26 points to 0.
It probably deserved to be 26 points to 0.
Yeah.
But
we were in it. That was the thing that killed me. We were in it at half time. Despite the fact that we hadn't played very well, we were in it at half time.
Indeed. And then just imploded, and I'm obviously doing this off the top of my memory and the bit of review that we've looked at.
Angus Crichton scored twice, and we just let him score. It was pathetic, really, effort. We just let him score.
We brought Walmsley on, who I liked the role that he played. You know, the impact prop. Something that they didn't really have. But then he did about 20 minutes in that first game. At the end of the first half, he gets stunning at the end of the first half, and Williams can't cover for him, and they end up scoring.
Yeah.
We talk about being in all these games. The second game, such a close game. I was there. It's a good experience. 14 points to 6. But you know George Williams is going to be disappointed with his defence for the Munster try. Just switches off. And they do not give you a second chance.
No.
We made a couple of changes for this. Havard dropped out.
Mikey Lewis.
Mikey Lewis went onto the bench to come on.
But then
they dropped Darryl Clark, and Jez Litton started. Harry Smith came into the team. We'll probably it might be best to talk about the players individually at the end when we finish talking about the games. But we were much more in this. We were much more physical. Made a couple of silly mistakes, which probably cost us. But I know we lose 14 points to 4 and we don't score a try, but we look so much better. We stood up to them, and I was really, really happy walking away with that was a better England performance. Then Headingley, I know the scoreline is 30 points to 8. But we were really chasing it, and we made some silly mistakes, and I think there was a couple of tries from Reece Walsh, one where we went for an intercept and the ball looped up and it lands in his hands and he scores. We were in that game and we were very good, and then they just killed us at the end. I can live with all of that. My question to you is what did people expect? I've seen all this sudden talk as if we were expecting to beat the Aussies 2-1. Because all I heard beforehand is we're not going to score a point and they're going to put 50, 60 on us at the start of the series. I think, barring the first game, we've made a good account of ourselves.
Yeah, I agree. We were well up for that second game, you could see, and the third game, actually. Flying into tackles, really committed to each other.
It was just, they're the best team in the world. Like, don't get me wrong, I was the optimist as always, and you're like, well, if we just win here and then we just do this, we could just do them. But the honest truth is we're probably not good enough to beat the Aussies in a series.
No.
We might be good enough to beat them on a one-off occasion, which is why everyone writing the World Cup off.
Doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense, because in a one-off game, they don't turn up, you turn up brilliantly, get the rub of the green, get a penalty you don't deserve, someone gets sin-binned, anything can happen in a one-off game.
Yeah.
But over a series, usually the better team wins. And that's the problem. Now, I want to talk about the playing group and whatnot. Obviously, Wellesby started fullback for the first game. Gets dropped for Brimson. I thought, showed up, worked hard.
Yeah, and
then he gets injured.
Did his shoulder very early in the third game. I was looking forward to watching him.
Which means Mikey Lewis comes in at fullback, and I'm not going to criticise Mikey Lewis for not having a great performance at fullback. He's not a fullback.
No, he's not a fullback, no.
I will criticise him for not diving for that ball in a kicking behind, and that things like that frustrate me because you just have to put your body there. But he did a decent effort. The big talking point was around the halves.
We're not picking Jake Connor.
We're not picking Jake Connor, But then in the first game, going Mikey Lewis and George Williams. Now, I think our agreement, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, Matty, that Harry Smith has to play. Pick whoever you want between Williams and Lewis and make your bed with it as Sean Wayne. Harry Smith in that second game showed how to manage a game, how to keep us in it, and he kept us alive. He kicked very, very well. I know we end up losing the game, but we look in the fight. We kicked well, set up well, we ended our sets well. And I think that's the importance that... I would like to know why they didn't pick him for that first game.
Yeah.
I really would.
Yeah.
Now for me, towards the back end of the season, I'd have gone Smith and Lewis.
Yeah.
I can understand why Wayne would stick with the guy he knows and trusts in Williams. But for me, Smith had to be there. And he showed it in the second game.
I think for the World Cup, I think Smith should be locked in at 7.
Yeah. I think Smith and Lewis will be locked in. I do. And it's... You've got to get into wars of attrition with them. You've got to really work them over and over and over again. And that's something we didn't want to do in the first game. And we got better at in the second and the third.
Yeah. Overall disappointing though, because of the build-up and the tickets sold. And
yeah,
overall disappointing.
We have to do better. Now I've seen the whole talk about sack 'em all, bring a new head coach in.
You could try that, but it's a World Cup year.
Yeah. I would also argue that this is the joys of being an England coach. The whole conversation was that Wayne's a dinosaur, Wayne's this, Wayne's that. Should bring Sam Burgess in with Sam Tompkins and who's the other assistant coach?
Paul Wellens. Andy Last. Right,
that should be your coaching side of it. I was like, well, 2 of them were already involved in it. So, But you know if they brought Sam Burgess in.
And Breeze was already involved in it.
Yeah, but let's say they bring Sam Burgess in as head coach and you get beat. They go, oh, he's naive, he's too young to be an international head coach. What's he won at club level? Like, no matter who's your head coach...
You've actually got now... So you'd say, oh, we'd love somebody who's passionate about England Rugby League, who's played for England or maybe, from England, very passionate about the players, knows Super League really well, and has been a successful head coach. Well, you've got that.
Yeah.
And you're not going to find another one.
There's not many.
Unless you go back to Steve McNamara, and we'll not do that.
The only other one I can see is McDermott. He's overworking with the Knights.
Yeah, McDermott maybe.
But would he leave to whatever? I just think...
Has he got the knowledge of the Super League right now? He'd have to leave the Knights.
I just look and I think, you see all this and go, what? No matter what you're going to criticise whoever is head coach.
Yeah.
If they went and got the best coach there's ever been in Wayne Bennett, then people said, oh, he's a has-been, he don't know what he's on about anymore.
He doesn't watch Super League.
Yeah.
Doesn't know Liam Farrell, doesn't know Jermaine McGilvery.
Yeah.
He played Blake Austin on the wing. Yeah, that to stop. It did.
Yeah. But don't then, when you do the opposite, you're going to criticise him. I think Wayne is open to some criticism from this tournament and from this series. I think he made some mistakes.
I do think he's made mistakes, but I also think he's been dealt a pretty poor hand with the
preparation.
The
understanding, and we were 1 minute away from being in a World Cup final when we lose to Samoa.
Yep.
He's made a good start.
Don't forget, Samoa came over here and were fancied to beat us. They were 4-point favourites. We dusted them 60 points to 6. Then we beat them 2-0 out of a 2-test series. Then we beat Tonga 3-0 out of a 3-test series. Those are sides, I know not in the UK, they were in our own territory, but those are sides that have had big wins against Australia and New Zealand down under. We weren't expected to win those tests 5-0 on aggregate.
No.
Not at all.
And again, the difference is in June and in April of them years, we played a test match against France.
Yeah.
You've got to take it seriously. have to take it seriously, and the preparation and the build-up. One thing we didn't mention, and this, again, would be interesting to see what the plan is now, Victor Radley pulls out pre-series.
Yeah. Off the field issues.
Do you see him back in the fold next year?
No, I don't. I really don't. I think it was a big deal for him being in the fold in the first place. I think if he were 26, maybe. I don't think he'll be back in the fold. I'm not sure how much NRL he's going to play next year.
Well, that's the question. I'm just thinking about where is he playing next year, because he's got a ban from
Uncle Nick.
Uncle Nick. I couldn't think of the name then. He's 28 this year.
He's younger than I thought. He's been around ages.
Yeah, he's had a lot of head knocks. So we're going to see where he plays this year. If he's anywhere up to his best,
Maybe, yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
He might be. But I don't think he's going to be... I don't know how many games he's going to even play.
no. And that's the question. If he doesn't get 15, 20 games under his belt, he's not going to be around it.
And Morgan Knowles, I think, will do very well if he stays fit in the NRL. I think he'll do really well. And so I think he'll go up another level. And that'll be really useful for us to bring him back in the middle.
The only question I have about Morgan Knowles going to the NRL is how is he going to play under Wolf? Is he just going to be a forward?
I don't mind.
Plays a prop. I'm okay with either.
Yeah.
But then you still might be short in that 13 position, which... But I look across that squad, and as much disappointment as I had, there's not many players in that side who are going to be past it. Darryl Clark might be. Next year, in terms of another year older.
Maybe. Watkins, maybe. Walmsley, definitely. Walmsley, but that'd be the end for Walmsley, I think, for England.
There'll be questions about Williams. But in that position, you've already got your solutions to them. If Williams doesn't play, you've got Mikey Lewis.
What about prop?
Luke Thompson didn't play.
Yeah. If
Sam Walters.
Watkins is out, then you can put Junior December back in.
Junior December in.
Yeah.
Matty Nicholson.
Matty Nicholson, yeah. He was on a race against fitness and he kind of just wasn't quite back yet. He said as much.
Yeah. So,
but he's looking for next year. He'll be wanting to be in that squad next year.
There's a lot of lads who are going to get... Smithies has held his own and I think has probably made himself pickable.
Kai Pearce-Paul at a new team. What could he do?
Another year over there, getting better. Junior, obviously, talked about. Be interested to see what happens with the 9, because this year we went with Jez Litton. I've still got my frustrations over certain things with Jez Litton.
Yeah, we were annoyed with Jez Litton missing so many tackles, but then he does produce an amazing moment for our only try, the game at Headingley. And everyone loves him and gives him man of the match and man of the series. I'm not sure, but I also think if Brad O'Neill started that game and then we brought Jez Litton on after 25 minutes, that's a completely different...
So do I.
He's being asked to do a job that he's much better at.
I think, and this is where I've ebbed and flowed about my opinions, is asking him to play 80. There was one in the... missed quite a few tackles in the Headingley test. Not Headingley, the second one at the Hill Dickinson. And then he puts a kick in from 9. And a couple of times, and we saw it in the first game as well.
In the first game where Mikey Lewis had set something up, hadn't he, to the left, and he'd organised something up. And then he looked up to get the ball and Litton was already kicking it.
I was going to say, it looks to me in that first one that Lewis is planning a kick to the corner to try and pin him in and gain some field position.
Yeah.
And he's screaming at Wardle, Johnston. I can't remember who played second row. Bateman.
Oh, by the way, it'll definitely be the end for Bateman at England, I think.
Yeah.
England level.
And Matty Lees. And they're all set up to chase on the last, and then on the fourth he kicked and and Lewis just throws his hands up.
Yeah,
and that actually led to the Walsh break that made 60-odd metres.
That was just after half-time. Were you thinking, right, come on, get into this game here?
Yeah.
8-0 down, we're in chance here.
In the second test, he jumps out from 9 and puts a kick in, and Harry Smith's waiting for it on the next tackle. And you can hear Harry Smith, where I was sat, you could hear him shout an expletive. But, what are you doing? So he's got to be an international hooker, you've got to rein that back in a little bit. And I don't think we have a hooker that can match Harry Grant.
No, I don't think
and do that for 80 minutes.
Teams do.
I don't think anyone does. I think he's the best hooker in the world. We have to find the best of both with a mixture of maybe 2. So we'll see that. I think there's a lot of players going to get better. Harry Robertson is going to be in the fold next year. And then it's just a case of where your pack is.
Yeah.
Where your squad is. But across the league, I'm looking and thinking multiple players will get better.
Yeah, you'd think so.
So, I'm not writing off the World Cup.
Mm.
And that, again, might be the optimist in me and you, saying, you only need a lucky win here, and then you get the rub of the green, and you're suddenly in a final, and anything can happen once you're there.
Mm.
Well, let's not be funny. Was it 2017? Where we were a Josh Dugan ankle tap away. And that what was our spine that day?
Kev Brown and
Luke Gale and Woodard played fullback.
Woodard fullback, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you can get there, you're always in with a chance. Knockout rugby. Right, I think that's the Ashes summed up, isn't it?
Yeah, in 20 minutes, we've summed up the entire Ashes, all 3 tests.
We're not talking about the cricket.
Oh, God, man.
That's even worse.
That is actually worse. That is actually worse.
Should we go on a holiday to Noosa?
That's the thing is, at least it wasn't as embarrassing as this.
Yeah. For all you cricket fans who'll know what we're talking about there.
People who support rugby league and cricket, it's been an interesting year.
I'm really hating on Australia.
There's an Australian guy I work with, and I just don't want to talk to him at the minute because we're 3-0 down in the cricket. We lost 3-0 in the rugby league.
Oh, I bet everyone knows he's Australian. I bet he makes it very clear.
It's pretty obvious he's Australian.
He'll go missing. He won't be in work when they lose again.
Yeah.
A couple of big pieces of news. Obviously, the Salford situation seems to be resolving.
We said that before.
Some positive signs. Obviously, not going too early on that, but hopefully everything goes well there. Featherstone entering administration. Not great news. Not what you want to hear.
No, and no jokes this time for Featherstone, and I feel bad for the people of that town. They've always turned up to support their team, the Flat Cappers. Another of our clubs, historic clubs, hopefully can be saved, but in dire straits.
I'm trying to think, was there anything else? Obviously, we're not talking about...
White even got saved, I know, but
yes,
that was the start of the year.
We should be clear, we're not talking about signing news and things like that.
No.
But the last big piece of news, and this might just take us a couple of minutes to get through, is the 3 new clubs that have been entered into Super League.
Yes.
Bradford, York, Toulouse.
Mm-hmm. We've kind of spoken, haven't we, about this? Because I remember talking about London not getting in.
Well, we talked on the last episode about who we thought would be in.
Yeah.
And the conversation we all had was we didn't think London should be in.
They weren't quite ready. And it was a little bit last minute with the Darren Lockyer stuff. We weren't sure that Bradford should be in it because they seem to have gamed the system with the IMG and done a little bit here and a little bit there. Now, Bradford have signed 1 million players, and some of them are good Super League standard players. So I can see them. Listen, the bottom of the league the last few years has been dreadful. Let's not beat around the bush. The last few years, the bottom of the table has been awful. And we've always said, well, the top of the Championship probably could compete here. Now they've got a chance to. The top 3 teams, the best 3 teams from last year in the Championship have got a chance. One of them will be fine. I think 2 of them will be terrible.
Well, I was going to make this point, and I was thinking about it just when you were talking. The whole point is, it's going to lower the standard, whatever. What I will argue is them 3, plus the 2 or 3 clubs that were at the bottom of the league, Castleford, Huddersfield.
They've now got games to win.
They can now beat each other.
And will
beat each other. And then it becomes a case of, can you turn over one of the big guys and get a win here where you probably shouldn't get 2 points, or can you go to a Headingley as a York and whatever, and they have an off day and you win a game and suddenly you've got 2 points you don't deserve. I think it brings a little bit of jeopardy in as it stood previously, there was 9 teams that should be in the top 6
and then 3
would miss
whereas
out.
This is going to be like a 9 and a 6
and
you feel like that's a bit more balanced. And the best thing in the world is it got rid of fixtures. Now I still have a problem because Magic Weekend still means that the League Leaders Shield can't be a fair competition because not everybody plays everybody the same number of times.
Yep.
So again, just like in, they don't offer a league leadership in some leagues where there's loop fixtures. There is an extra 27th game, which is going to be harder for some teams than others. You never know who's going to get a harder one until it actually happens. But
you look at what they do in the NRL, and you just give up a home fixture.
Yeah, but they also have loop fixtures because not everyone plays everyone twice.
Not everyone plays everyone
20
twice.
teams.
But you give up a home fixture.
Yeah, I don't. And then is that? Yeah, it's just an extra game.
What we'll say about the league is you can clearly see they are building to split. Get 20 good clubs, split into 2 tiers of 10.
Conferences, I don't think there'll be tiers.
I think they'll have a Sydney tier, and
There'll be conferences, so they'll meet in the final. The
So do I.
grand final will be one from each BNFL.
so do I. I think there'll be something like that. But they're happy dealing with that until they get there. We're in a situation now where it's a bit like, what are we doing? What are we waiting for? And there's no long-term plan.
There's no short-term plan. We
Yes.
put these 3 clubs in and we don't know what they're doing next year.
Yeah.
You finish bottom next year, do you go down? Is it ratings again? Don't know.
My opinion, my honest opinion, is genuinely we should just guarantee them 14 are staying in Super League.
And if we need to, we'll add.
Yeah. Now, if we get to there and there's 2 clear teams way above the rest, we'll add 1 or we'll add 2. If London absolutely romp home,
Or Salford come back.
or Salford come back,
Or
or
Wigan come
whoever,
back, whoever.
we'll make it 16. You play 30 games home and away. I'm okay with that. If we have to make it 15 and one team gets a bye every week, I'm okay with that. But that 14 should be guaranteed for a spell.
Yeah.
Catalans has been the expansion team that has worked the best.
Because it had the 3-year exemption.
It had 3 years exemption. Didn't matter what they do. They could look long term. They could build a squad to be ready 2-3 years later. If you're York, you have to build a squad to win enough games now. You're not, and that's why you have to spend 250 grand on Paul Vaughan. You have to go and buy top end players. But that's not building a successful franchise, as they call it. It's not building a squad for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years to be a Super League club in 2050, if you get what I mean. I think that's it, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we've covered a lot there. There's been a lot to listen to. Well, hopefully everybody has a safe and enjoyable Christmas period, and then we'll be back in the new year to talk about some signings, talk about some predictions, maybe talk about some teams.
Early January, do you reckon? Will we?
Yeah, I'd probably say so. Yeah, and then 10th of January, North Wales Crusaders away. I think that's going to be a reserve side going to North Wales Crusaders. Then it's Liam Marshall's testimonial. Hopefully, as many people get down to that as possible. So it really
He deserves it
for
big
his
time.
charity, because he does deserve it. You're right.
So yeah, I think that's
Looking
everything.
into the season. Oh, it's exciting!
Can't wait.
It's
Can't wait.
exciting. We'll be at the wait. What's it called now? Not the Mendehouse Jungle anymore. It's called something else now. We'll be at the Jungle in no time. As always, we always start there.
Right, Matty, thank you for coming on.
No problem.
Been a nice catch up, really.
Yes.
And hope you all enjoyed listening, and we'll see you in the new year.